Would it be fun to sue an abortion doctor? I mean, what could be greater than that? I think it's great. Debbie's not so sure. But there's a Texas abortion doctor. This guy's name is Alan Braid. He's in San Antonio. And he wrote an article in the Washington Post in which he basically said that even though Texas now has a law that makes it illegal to abet or help someone to procure an abortion, and that person would be vulnerable to being sued even by private citizens in or even outside the state. Nevertheless, the doctor says that he has a moral obligation. He has a moral obligation. Anyway, he is not only intends to continue to do it, but he has already done it. He said that just a few days after the law went into effect, he performed an abortion on September 6th. And it's kind of like one of these, I dare you to sue me. Now, two people have already filed suit against this guy, but both the lawsuits are a little strange. Let me tell you about them. So the first lawsuit is filed by an Arkansas man named Oscar Stilley. Now, this guy is apparently a disbarred lawyer. Not only a disbarred lawyer, he was convicted of tax evasion by the federal government. He apparently served 10 plus years in prison. He's still under home confinement. So he's basically a guy who's in the lockup. And his motive for suing has nothing to do with abortion. In fact, he says, I'm not pro-life. He notices that there's a kind of a bounty that if you sue, you might get $10,000. And I want to quote him. This is from the New York Times. He goes, quote, if this is a free-for-all and it's $10,000, I want my $10,000. And he goes, and yes, I do aim to collect. So this guy's after the cash. Now, there's another guy, an Illinois man named Felipe Gomez, who has also filed suit. But this guy's not against the doctor. He's actually on the side of the doctor. He describes himself as a, quote, pro-choice plaintiff. And his idea of suing is he wants the doctor to use the defense that the Texas law is unconstitutional, and he's hoping that a Texas court will agree. So his strategic objective here is not to uphold the Texas law, but to try to bring it down. But obviously, I'm thinking about entering this fray myself, and I'm sort of checking into it to find out what is involved. But I would love to sue this guy myself. Of course, I'm not after the $10,000. In fact, I want to say right now that if I can collect $10,000 from first of all, it's the best $10,000 I will have collected. Second of all, I'm going to make the doctor's life even more miserable by doubling the money and donating the entire amount to Texas Right to Life. I'll be really happy to give it to the San Antonio Division of Texas Right to Life. This will teach this guy a bit of a lesson. So yeah, there's, you can skirt the law. I mean, I did. But if you do, you should be willing to face the consequences. And I'm happy in this case to be on the plaintiff side of that. So I'll report to you over the next days and perhaps weeks where this all ends up. But what I'm looking into now is the idea of, as a citizen, and the beauty of the Texas law is it provides standing to citizens in Texas. I don't have to prove that I'm directly harmed by the law. I'm harmed by the law by the simple fact that there is killing, the termination of life going on in Texas. And as a resident of Texas, I'm obviously affected by it. So this Texas doctor, I think, has stepped out front. I'm really glad he has, because he has sort of made himself a target, and I, for one, am getting ready to take aim.